Well, first of all, Neil, let's talk injury situation. What is the very latest?
Well, since I've left the training ground, I'm hopeful that nothing's happened. I think we're okay. I think the main long-term ones are still the same. Ben Hall, the news wasn't great on him. He rolled his ankle last week, and that looks a long-term one. So yeah, so that's not great. But other than that, Steady obviously played 30 minutes the other day. Kane Hemmings has trained certainly the last few days. So we're hopefully in a slightly better place than we was.
I was going to say, you talk about Ben Hall. I mean, he's had a nightmare season from his point of view. You must feel for him as a particularly young player.
Absolutely. He was one I actually inquired about at Wimbledon in the summer. So before he came here, so it would have been nice to have had him back pushing for a place, but not to be, unfortunately.
How is he coping? Because it must not be easy.
No, it's probably not. So we'll speak to Brighton and see which way we go about it. With it being a long term, I think we've got to see the specialists and see what's happened. But it was just something very, very innocuous. No one near him felt his ankle, and it's turned out to be a bad one.
Kane Hemmings, I mean, he's trained today. Will he be an inclusion for the squad on Saturday, or you're not going to give too much away?
I'll see how he trains tomorrow. Right. Really, he's been out for probably a month now, so I made sure that Coxey and Chet's put him through his paces today and try to get a good blow into him. So we'll see how he trains tomorrow. How he comes out of it. It's always that risk reward. Is it worth having him for 15 or 20 minutes at the end of the game? Is it worth losing him for another 3 weeks? So you just got to try and balance, but we'll make that decision. We don't have to make that decision until Saturday morning.
I know obviously he played for Mansfield. Is he chomping at the bit? Is he sort of trying to get into your head a little bit? Yeah,
to be fair, he's very much up for it. He's well aware of how this one works, having sat on both sides, so he's very much up for it. So if he trains well tomorrow, he could come into the reckoning.
Let's talk about you. Obviously, you had a look back at the Sunderland game. What were your thoughts, overriding thoughts on that? Now you've had a good chance to analyse it.
There was loads of positives. There was loads of sort of intent. I thought with how big they make the pitch, I thought we just tired a little bit in the second half. But the first half, certainly. I mean, I've just gone back through it with the video analysis, just showing them stuff we'd worked on for 4 days and how it paid off. And I think even the players were surprised seeing it, saying, "Oh wow, yeah, we didn't realise what a great opportunity that was." And that was. But I said it at the time. We won't play Sunderland again this season. That they had 8 first-team players there, with top League One quality, and I don't think we'll play a team as good as that again this season. So to put up a fight and lose 2-0 to an own goal and a penalty, I think is a good start. But obviously we didn't want to lose. Full stop.
Now, it obviously brings us on to the big one this weekend. Obviously, you are aware of the rivalry between the two clubs. What are your overriding thoughts going into the game?
Under pressure.
That's not bad, is it?
That's good. That's good voice. It would be, personally, it would be a brilliant start to my time here to do something good. And really get everyone behind you and smiling and just in a great place after the start. So there's loads of reasons other than just 3 points to want to do well. But I think, and this is one thing I'll say to Alan too, whatever happens, we've got a long game here. And, I had it when I was at Wimbledon with a certain club as well, that they was very, very eager to beat first time out, etc. And the long games ended up with them in a league above. So, let's try our best on Saturday, but let's make sure that we get the long game right, and that will be the bit that will stand us in good stead.
What's going to be key going into that game?
Well, they're a very good team. They've only lost once this season. I think they're probably one of the stronger teams in the league this year. So first of all, we've got to make sure that we're up for it, and our energy levels and our intensity is great. Secondly, we've got to make sure that we're not giving away sloppy stuff and silly mistakes, because in League Two, in any league, conceding sloppy goals and being 1 or 2 down, it's very, very hard to chase games. I think the stats are 78% of the time a team takes the lead. It's one of them. So I want us to be front foot. I want us to have a go. I don't want us to sit back. And we'll do loads of work tomorrow. I think the boys need to get belief and have that confidence, you know, and if we can be in the game and having good spells of the game, I think that will give it to them. But we're under no illusions. They're a good team, and you know, they've only lost once all season.
Is this the kind of fixture that if you do get a good result in, is it one that you believe that can kick-start the season? Absolutely.
I think you get a result in straight away, the fans will, after a tough start of the season, they're going to jump on board. They're going to be, everyone will be a hero for a night, I'm sure, if we could get a positive result, and you know, hopefully we can then take that to the next game. But you know, if we do manage to get a positive result, you know, we would be in the league 3 games unbeaten with the 2 draws Chet's got. So, you know, you've got to keep chipping away. You can't win every game. You know, you're going to lose some, and every point you've got to, you know, respect every point you get, and we've got to keep chipping away because we've got a target, and we don't want to fall too far behind it.
And since you come into the club, I mean, obviously, and the fact that the team haven't won for so long, what have you made of the confidence within the squad? Do you sense that the pressure of not winning is playing on the minds a little bit?
I'm sure it's there. Winning's a habit. That's an old cliche, but it is. You know, people that win games believe they're going to win games. They're more surprised when they don't. People that lose games are more surprised when they do win games. You just get beaten up by them. So it happens, and we've tried to give them belief in what we're trying to do in the structure. We're trying to give them clarity on what wins games of football, so that they're under no illusions of the most important parts of it. And I think hopefully they've got smiles on their faces. They're enjoying it. They're blowing in training, which is good, because obviously we feel we've probably upped the intensity of that. So I think if we can just keep them believing it, that they produce certain, I told you, numbers, certain stats that will weigh it in your favour to win a game of football, then the performance, I think I heard Sean Dyche say last night, you know, performances will get you results, and by and large, if you can keep them performances high. So that's the only bit I can control, and if the players believe that, we can get there.
I mean, it's interesting because what's the one biggest single thing that you'd like to see the team more do? I mean, you say you've been working on the training pitch. What was the one key area that you think that they need to improve on the most? Well,
I think the stats tell you keep clean sheets. I think was the first thing. But I believe if you don't have an attacking threat, and we've got a lot of attacking players out injured, as you know. So I believe if you don't carry an attacking threat, it's easier to invite pressure onto you, and then eventually you can crumble. So taking that attacking threat to the opposition, knowing as a team you've got goals in you, that's a big thing. So we're trying to give them belief and make sure that the numbers are right for the goals. You know, whether you play 2 up front, 3 up front, 1 up front, whatever it happens to be, it's all about getting the right players into the box, getting the right entries into the box. But obviously we've got to stop conceding poor goals. But when I did the stats prior to getting the job, you know, and I said there was 75% were from crosses and corners, well, that's a great start point to say. So we've done loads of work on, you know, trying to be better at A, stopping crosses, B, being in the right areas when they do come in, and C, we've had 2.5 hour meeting on set pieces to try and nail them down as staff before we then take them to the players. So we've done that. So hopefully, you know, you just put all these things in place. Football's a game that will kick you in the proverbials and you know, frustrate you, but we know the processes are going in the right direction.
I've got to ask you, because you obviously had a quick break and then back in the dugout again. What was that like, being back in so quickly? Yeah,
it's quite funny. I stood next to Jack Ross and he said, "Welcome back." Like, I felt like I hadn't been away. I was just, wow, didn't know where that come from. Yeah, it was great. And I do feel re-energised totally. You know, at Wimbledon, like you say, 6 years, and we had a tough, probably the toughest 2 months I'd had, and in 6 years, 2 bad months, tough bad months. It wasn't bad, but it does get to you. It does bring you down, and you know, maybe it was time. Maybe, you know, it is all panned out for you. But I do feel re-energised. I do feel the excitement of this challenge. Very similar to when I took over at Wimbledon with a bottom of League 2 dogfight, so to speak. But I've got a lot of belief that we can do this. But you need to understand, you know, we need 1.4 points a game. You know, we need to hit these numbers, and 1.4 points a game is, you know, it's 3 wins every 7, and we've had 3 in 20. And when you start looking at it, you can quite easily go, wow. But I had the same at Wimbledon.
And obviously you're going to have terrific backing there on Saturday. How crucial can that be as a player? I know you would have played in plenty of derbies in the past.
Yeah, I remember when, as manager of Wimbledon, when we took 1,1400 away from home, and the away fans always tend to be, because they're all in one area, they always tend to just be that bit louder, and they've probably been out drinking that little bit earlier, so it gives them the confidence. But the away fans are phenomenal, and I genuinely believe that if we take a good following, it can create a buzz. And my main hope is that we put in a performance that they're all very happy with. And you know, I can't guarantee the result, but I can guarantee, or what I can try and guarantee, is the performance. And I just want them to come off and say to a man, they represented us brilliantly out there.
Yeah, is that the one single thing that you want from your players as a manager, just to leave everything out on the pitch? Yeah,
we're working on loads of things to make sure that we have a real go, and make sure at the end everyone comes off and says, there's a lot to like there. Regardless of the result, I'm happy with that, and that's what we've been working towards.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you very much.
Lots TV. So what pros and cons can we take from the Sunderland game?
Pros was we created 4 or 5 really good chances, and 2 or 3 of them were from stuff we've been working on. So, and I showed them on the match analysis today. That was part of the match analysis, and even they were like, "Oh wow, you know, we're working at certain players being in certain areas," and they didn't realise how good the chances were and good the moments are and the problems they caused. So against a team like Sunderland, that was great. I think the only negatives I can really take from it is that we lost the game. I got to look at players. I needed 1 or 2 needed to be left out. One's got a little niggle and he needed to be left out for Saturday. So we kind of managed that. I got to have a look at an area that's a bit of a problem for us at the moment at right back, and try one player and have a look at another in there. So I learnt loads from it. They're the pros, but the cons really, the only con was that we didn't start with a positive result.
And the players, have they been quick to adapt to you following the recent changes?
Really good, really good. There were so many things in the Sunderland game that we'd worked on, and even when I took the session, I did a tactical session here on last Saturday at the ground, and we did 11v11 stuff, and I was surprised. I mean, part of my remit was to start with as much clarity as I could in the way we play, so we was all on the same page, and they've done it really, really well so far. So long may that continue.
And what style of play are you trying to implement on the team?
At the moment, front foot, trying to get the right numbers into the right areas, trying to put the stats into our favour so that we can win games of football. And when I say that, I'm talking about, you know, attempts on goal, attempts on target, clear-cut chances, expected goals, the thing that's meant to guide games. All these things are guides that should say that team should win that game or that team. It's not perfect, but it's a chance. If you're crossing a ball and you've only got 1 in the box against 3, you're less likely to score a goal than if you've got 3 trying to attack the box. And we've done loads of work on getting numbers into the box, committing to attacks. We've just got to make sure we balance that off with the stuff at the other end.
And when it comes to derbies, how do you mentally prepare your players?
I shouldn't have to get them up for it. You know, I've played in some big games. I shouldn't have to get them up to it. They know. They know what the importance of this, and you know, I hope that our boys, with the tough start we've had and with what the fans have probably been through this season, I hope that they want to give them something to sing about, and they want to give them something to be proud about. And if they do that, if they feel that way, then they're going to go as hard as they possibly can.
Is there any thoughts on Flitcroft?
I like David. I've got on with him well before, and in his Bury days, and he's a good guy. And I'll speak to him before and after the game, but obviously for that 90 minutes during, we'll be fierce rivals.
And what surprised you so far after taking over the club?
How good it is. You know, there's things to be done behind the scenes, bits and bobs with the structure that I think I can improve in the training ground, little bits that we can take forward. But when I come to this stadium, like I've mentioned before, it's a proper football club, and there's great staff here and great people here, and it's re-energised me. It's exciting, and I really, really, really hope I can deliver what they need me to do this season and take it on from there.
Coming this weekend, do you feel like it's a good time to capitalise on Mansfield defeat earlier this week?
Well, it could go both ways. They get a bit of a kick up the backside, and they respond, and you know, it can go any way. I can't control how well Mansfield play. I can control how my team play, and that's my focus. It is a baptism of fire, isn't it? First league game.
Sorry, Lucia?
Yeah, Notts have a bit of a, let's say, unfavourable record away at Mansfield. Do you think that that pressure weighs the players down, or do you think it G's them up?
Difficult one. I think you know, it's probably that record's been there, and it's been different teams in the past and changed around. I'll try my best to get the team focused on the performance, and I think sometimes you can get carried away with the occasion when it's games like this, so we've got to get the balance right of knowing it's a derby and making sure we're really competitive and we play it how we should, but at the same vein focusing on our game and how we're going to stop them doing what they're good at and try and do what we're good at. So there's always a fine balance, but I'll be disappointed if we don't turn up and the fans don't you know, aren't very pleased with what they see.
Yeah, a similar couple of questions for Eyeline would be useful again. You gave a really level-headed response when you were talking about the fact it's a derby, but you personally must be thinking, God, what a story this would be if I could come in, give them a win in the derby match against a team doing so well. How easy, difficult will it be for you to kind of put that to one side and focus on the fact this is 3 points?
I was just about to say that before you finish that question. It is 3 points that we desperately need. You know, we have to hit these numbers, points per game. We have to get there. You have to keep chipping away at it. So it's a chance to get 3 points on the board, and that is the end game. But more than that, then there's that bit where you know you've just come into a club that's on a little bit of a downer at the moment, and you want to give it a lift, you want to play a part in giving it a lift, and what a great start to what I hope will be a very good relationship between me and this club, if I could deliver something that they haven't had for a while. So there's that extra edge to it for me.
But obviously, you know, in the build-up you'll be kind of hearing the buzz from fans and players as well, talking about the fact it's a derby. Those sorts of games, is it distraction, the kind of the big build-up, or is it a positive, or do you spin it to be
a bit of both. I think if you want to play football, you want to play in big games. It's you know, when I played for Wimbledon, we enjoyed going to Anfield and Old Trafford more than we did playing in, you know, at Selhurst Park against whoever it happened to be. So football should be about playing in big games and games that mean something. Every game we've got now for 26 games means something because we need so many points, but this will be a great place to start.
Final one for me, if that's okay, a similar one to what was asked earlier actually. You've now had a chance to play a competitive game, spend a bit of time on the training field. What are the challenges and what are the opportunities, do you think, with this squad, with this group? There's
several challenges as far as, you know, getting players fit, first and foremost. When you've got some of the good players we've had out, that's important. So that's the first challenge I've got, to get good players on the pitch, because good players win your games of football. I've kind of assessed where we are as a squad. I think we could do with improving, but we've got a lot of bodies, so we need to manage that situation right. So that's my initial assessments, that's my initial challenges, is getting a group believing in themselves, getting good players back on that pitch, and then assessing how we can improve the squad and be fair to the players who may not be getting the game time.